The infamous, I don't have the money. So you're a coach, you're teaching whatever you teach. It can be finances, it can be weight loss, it can be empowerment. And you get to this point where either you're doing a sales call or you have a Google form. However, you do this and you get this part where the person says they don't have the money, or you start seeing them fluster and get a little uneasy. So let's just think what's happening on their end. Usually on their end, it could be they're not clear yet on either the transformation or some questions didn't get answered ahead of time. And I have learned this the hard way. I've had tons of calls where I was like, man, I should have answered this in the presentation ahead of time. What's usually happening is that the questions that they're starting to ask after you mention the price and things like that, their nerves are just firing. A fight, flight, or freeze is kicking in. They're nervous to give the money over, and now just a lot of other questions are in their head. So what didn't happen, right? Because I've seen people go through that, and then I've seen people actually just buy. You didn't speak to the limbic brain, which is the emotional part of the brain that actually makes the decision to move forward. The brain has to feel safe enough to actually say, "Hey, I'm gonna make this decision." And if the person hasn't known you for a while, they've never talked to you, they just seen you maybe on social media or something like that. They know something about you, but they don't really know you. So that is a barrier already. Daniel Priestley mentions that people usually start to buy from you once they've seen you in 7 different places. So he talks about maybe a webinar, being on different social media platforms, email. You can go get one of his books. He's amazing. He talks about that. And I want to take it a little further. If the person is like having so much objections, think about what are they fighting in their head at the moment. It's usually safety. I don't feel safe giving this money over to this person right now. Can they really get me the result? What we tend to do is usually start giving more facts. Like, you want this. You said you really, really want that. And that's not talking to the limbic brain. I've had to learn this the hard way. I wish I knew this years ago when I got into any type of coaching, but I'm sharing it with you. Let's start by letting them ask a question that's powerful. If we can wave a magic wand, how would you feel if we really made this happen? Maybe one is, what do you feel inside that's holding you back? Or what belief do you feel is blocking you from actually making this move? It's something inwardly stopping them. It's usually not external. And usually, if it's money, sometimes people will figure it out. And I'm not saying go and take somebody's mortgage or car payment, nothing like that. A lot of times people can figure it out or they have the money. They just need to feel safe inside first. And that word sounds so like maybe cheesy or corny, but it's the truth. If they don't feel safe inside, they're not going to give the money over. I had a call with the lady and she had mentioned she wanted to coach and she mentioned how scared she was of just trying, scared of social media, scared of what people were going to say, scared of like leaving what she does for. She had so much fear. And by the end of the call, we didn't give her a ton of just like facts about modules and stuff like that. We talked to the fear. And one question that I asked her is, if you didn't make this decision today and you stayed the same, where would you be next year? And she paused and she said, I'll be in the same exact place, which is stuck. And I asked her, is it worth making the investment to not be in this place again next year? Or is it worth you just holding on to where you're at? And it made her start to realize, like, hey, the person that's holding me up from getting this transformation or this thing happening, it's actually me. Once people realize that they can feel safe to do business with you, it's a lot easier. Most people don't take the time to even think about that when they're selling. They think selling is cramming something down someone's throat, or they think selling is I gotta make you do something. No, selling is identifying the problem and seeing if I have the solution to the problem. If I don't have the solution to the problem, there's nothing to sell. I'm not gonna conjure up something just to get you to buy, because what usually happens is you get a disgruntled customer and now you get to deal with a headache. I want people when they do business with me to feel I made a decision to step into my transformation. He is just the guide on this journey, but I made the decision. It was my decision. I don't want to go to bed at night thinking that I sold something to somebody who's not going to use it and they don't need it. So look it up. You got to talk to the limbic brain. You have to talk to the part of the brain which is firing off all those questions in that fight, flight, or freeze mode. You want to think about how can I allow this person to understand that I hear them in their head. Like there's a conversation going on in that person's head. No matter how much you think it is, isn't there's a conversation going on inside of that person's head. So if you're a new coach and you're thinking like I'm not making sales, you're probably not talking to anybody's limbic brain. You're probably just talking to like their head, like you're talking to fact. You're giving them facts, which is cool, but it's not going to make them actually say, "Hey, I need to do business with this person." If you would like to do business with me, I give you an offer right now. I do one-on-one consultations and we go through what do you actually say on your calls? What are you saying in your content? What's the goal you are trying to reach? And we find out quickly you're trying to reach this goal to get more customers, but what you're saying is you're just giving out information. We want to give out transformation information so that these people can actually come into something that can be a course, that can be a program, well, it can be a one-on-one session with you. It can be whatever you're selling, whatever you want to offer. But if you don't have the language and the right messaging, it's not going to land. And I've done it for years where I messed it up. And when I got it right, I was like, hey, I know a ton of people who have an amazing product and it's just not landing because they don't know what to say. So let's get you right. DrewCost.com, or if you're on Instagram, wherever you see me on social media, feel free to DM me. Let's get your messaging clear so that you can go and change your corner of the world. I want you to go out there and help the people who you're supposed to help and not be frustrated because no one's coming to you. Be good, guys. I'm out of here.